Here's why drawing bad art will improve your skills. There I was, sitting in my room, surrounded by sketchbooks and untouched art supplies. Sound familiar? I bet it does. We've all been there, right? The desire to create burning inside us, but paralyzed by the fear of not being good enough. I remember staring at that blank page, pencil in my hand, my heart racing. What if it's terrible? What if people laugh? What if I'm not really a good artist at all? These are the terrible thoughts that echoed in my mind, keeping me frozen in place. Days, weeks, months passed, and still those sketchbooks remained empty. I was comfortable in my inaction, safe in my dreams of someday. But deep down, I knew something had to change. It all started with simply choosing to draw daily. That one terrible sketch became a turning point. It wasn't about the quality of the art, it was about the act of creation itself. I had done it. I had faced my fear and put something on paper. Inspired by this small victory, I set myself a challenge: 30 days of creating art, no matter how bad it might be. The rules were simple. 1. Create something every day, even if it's just a 5-minute doodle. 2. No erasing and no starting over. And 3. Share at least one piece of art each week on social media. That last rule terrified me the most. Sharing my art with actual people, the thought made me want to hide under my bed. But I knew that if I wanted to grow, I had to push myself out of my comfort zone. As I embarked on my 30-day challenge, I quickly realized that my greatest enemy wasn't external judgment. It was my own inner critic, that nasty little voice in my head that was constantly whispering, "This is bad, you're wasting your time, you'll never be a real artist." Comment below if you prefer drawing every single day, or if you prefer drawing only when you feel inspired. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Some days, that voice was so loud I could barely pick up my pencil. But I had made commitment. So I pushed myself through, drew stick figures, abstracted blobs, and lopsided animals. And slowly, day by day, something started to change. I found allies in unexpected places. The Instagram art community, which I had always been too scared to engage with, turned out to be incredibly supportive. Comments like "keep going" and "I love seeing your progress" became little bursts of encouragement that helped silence my inner critic. As the days went by, I began to notice something incredible. Hidden within those messy sketchbooks and failed attempts were little gems of creativity I had never accessed before. A wonky line became the starting point of something interesting for a character design. A color combination I would have never tried and never consciously chosen turned out to be strikingly beautiful. I started to see that there are no such things as a perfect piece of art. Every sketch, every experiment, every failure was actually a stepping stone to something new and exciting. It was all about perspective. This realization was liberating. Instead of aiming for perfection, I began to approach each piece with curiosity. What can I learn from this? Became my new mantra. And suddenly, creating art wasn't scary anymore. It was an adventure. So I took a deep breath, picked up my brush, and dove in, trying techniques I'd never dared to use before. And you know what? It was messy, it was chaotic, and it was absolutely exhilarating. It was alive in a way my art had never been before. It pulsed with energy, with emotion, with the shared joy of creation. But the real reward wasn't the painting itself. It was the realization that I had fundamentally changed as an artist and as a person. I had faced my fears head on and come out the other side. I'd learned to silence my inner critic and embrace the beauty of imperfection. And most importantly, I had remembered why I fell in love with art in the first place, not for the end result, but for the journey of creation itself. As my 30-day challenge came to an end, I faced a new question. How could I integrate this newfound courage into my daily life? I didn't want to lose the freedom and creativity I'd discovered. The answer I found was small, daily acts of creative bravery, and began each day with a fear-facing warm-up. A quick sketch or a doodle done without judgment. This simple act set the tone for the day, reminding me that creation is more important than perfection. I also made a commitment to keep sharing my art, both the successes and the failures, because I realized that by being vulnerable and showing my imperfect work, I might inspire someone else to start their own creative journey. And that, my friends, brings us to today. I'm here sharing this story with you because I want you to experience the same transformation I did. I want you to break free from the paralysis of fear and rediscover the joy of creation. So here's my challenge for you. Start your own journey of creative courage. It doesn't have to be a 30-day challenge unless you want it to be, but I suggest that you start small, draw for 5 minutes a day, scribble in the margins of your notebook, paint with your fingers like you did when you was a kid. The specific exercise doesn't matter. What really matters is that you give yourself permission to really use your sketchbook like a sketchbook and create without judgment, to make play and to experiment and to make mistakes. Remember, every bad drawing is a step towards improvement. Every moment of fear you push through your mistakes makes you stronger. Embrace the process, silence your inner critic, and watch your skills and creativity soar. So some of the things that I'd love you to remember is it's important to start small. You don't have to create a masterpiece. A simple doodle is a victory over fear. Embrace imperfections. There's no such thing as perfect art. Imperfections make your art unique. Share your work. Being vulnerable with your art can be scary, but it's incredibly rewarding. Find your tribe. Surround yourself with supportive fellow artists online or offline. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would show to a friend who's learning. Focus on the progress. Enjoy the act of creation, not just the end result. Really zone in and meditate on that. Celebrate the small victories. Every time you create despite your fear, you're winning. In the end, remember this: your fear of creating art doesn't define you. Your courage to create despite that fear does. Every great artist you admire started exactly where you are now, scared, unsure, but with a burning desire to create. Your artistic journey is uniquely yours. Embrace every part of it: the fear, the excitement, the masterpieces, and the mistakes. Because in the end, it's not about the creating. It's not about perfect art. It's about becoming the bravest, most authentic version of yourself. So what are you waiting for? Grab that sketchbook, pick up that brush, and start creating. Subscribe if you've enjoyed this video so far, and if you're someone who wants to learn even more about improving your art, watch my next video where I cover how I draw digital illustrations in Procreate.